I'm Mark Oya.
And I'm Steve Stanford, and this is Art You Can Drive.
Steve, check this out. 1933 Ford Cabriolet. I'm in love, buddy.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what, with these voluptuous lines, I guess so. So tell, why are you in love with it?
Well, there's a bunch of things here. You know, to me, the 33 is a very swoopy car. It's a very classy looking car.
Sure.
And this car, on top of that, is a Boyd Coddington car. And it's an original Boyd Coddington.
Well, and Boyd Coddington, I mean, we all know he was a legend, in the hot rod industry, and completely changed the looks of how hot rods are built, and this is an excellent example of what he was up against. He smoothed it off and made it just right. The color's brilliant. I can see why you're in love.
Oh, and it's a great car because, the fit and finish on this car was built in 91, but the fit and finish is incredible. It's got an independent front and rear suspension, and if you think back to 1991, these things weren't mass produced. They were hand machined.
That's right.
All billet aluminum. And they didn't just take the billet aluminum and machine it and make it into a part. They actually went ahead after that and anodized it red.
Well, and the cool thing about that, though, that took a total vision of what the whole idea of billet aluminum was. It wasn't just a matter of getting a hunk of metal and putting it on a machine or something. And there was an art that went into it. There was a pre-thought. They wanted to keep the lines of the car in mind and keep it nice and zoomy and swoopy. And I think that's the reason why it was such a hit when they came out with that look. And this 33 is definitely a manifestation of that appeal.
Well, and to me, it stood the test of time because built in 91, this is still the original paint, it's the original car, and it still looks good, and you still want to drive it. A lot of people appreciate it and like it. And underneath with all the billet stuff, it's actually modern. So it's got independent front suspension, independent rear suspension, four-wheel disc brakes, air conditioning.
Sure.
So it's actually a really nice driver.
Yeah, talk about art you can drive. That definitely is this
Well,
car.
that's the thing to me. And, so this car has kind of got the trifecta of things going on because, it's a beautiful looking car, which I consider to be a piece of art.
Sure.
It's a Boyd car, and it's a drivable car.
You know what's cool? This car is timeless. And it's funny because at the time everybody was talking about this whole high-tech look, which is what we're kind of describing in a way. Well, the fact that this car, as long ago as it was constructed, and it still looks good, it's still current. They didn't modify it so much that they lost the identity of Edsel Ford's original vision. This Ford era represents when Edsel was taking the styling reins because Henry Ford didn't care about that. He just wanted his mechanical end, the engineering to be paramount. But Edsel was a sensitive artist in the Ford hierarchy, and he made sure that every Ford that went from then on had that nice swoopy, zoomy, artistic look to it. And again, you can't fail with the result.
You just can't fail. So
No.
Let's take a look under the hood because, again, you got to remember, though, 1991, this was a big deal back in the day. Like,
Sure.
if you had this engine, it's got a two-port Chevy engine in it with injection on it, billet valve covers.
This is coming out of the carburetor era, so something like
Right.
a TPI was, wow.
Oh, look how clean it is. You don't see any wiring. All the hoses are wrapped up. They're all hidden. The firewall's nice and clean.
Well, the word that comes to my mind immediately is symmetry.
Right.
When you look at the direction of the fins and the machine grooves and and the fuel rails and all that, even the direction of the air cleaner elements, it all points in one harmonious direction.
Right.
And again, it's artsy. I love it.
Yeah, there's nothing, when you look from one end to the other, there's nothing that jumps out at you as being odd or strange. So it's a really nice package. And again,
That's
it's
right.
still driving. It's
That's
a great car. So it's definitely art you can drive.
Well, you know what that means.